Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and welcome to another broadcast. Today, we're going to be doing our countdown to Christmas. And hi, Fatima. We're going to be doing some checklists to make sure that we're on track for Christmas. And then also, we're going to do a couple of quotes that I found that are quite amusing. So, if you are new to the broadcast, welcome. If you are watching it on the replay, please notice that you're going to see from 00 to such and such a time news, views, and updates. Hi, Jamie. And then afterwards, it's going to say from this time onwards the topic of the day. And the topic of the day is, of course, 24 days until Christmas. Hi there, Jody. Thank you for your Christmas decorations. Um, so, we are doing pretty well overall. So we will see how everybody does. Hi, Nana. Um, for those of you who don't know, we've got a countdown going. Let me just double check here. I think it's just this time, in 2 weeks' time, we'll already be doing December. So let me just double check what the dates are here. Just bear with me a second. We've got Hi, Isabel. Good to see you. 24 days until Christmas. We've got only 14 days, I believe, until December. Well, in fact, probably 13 now. Yep, 13 days and 19 hours until December. And then, of course, the important one for me, 109 days until spring. Because, I don't do winter very well. Now, in terms of news, views, and updates, I know that Lauren, hi there, you love my tree. Well, thank you, Lauren. I managed to get it vertical. I've still got more to go on it, but I did manage to get it up and I managed to get it connected. So I thought you can see over here that I've still got what they say in Zulu is nyaga nyaga, which is a big mess. I've still got a big mess going on. And by the way, I just got the house all beautifully tidy and now it's an absolute mess again. Now, Jody and Lauren will tell you because they were part of that conversation. I could not find the box with the ornaments in it for the Christmas tree. And I refused to quit because that's who I am. It took me 8 boxes later to find on the ninth one. Can you believe that? And by the way, for those of you who don't know, this is a half tree. It's not a whole tree. And if nobody's ever seen a half tree, I thought you'd like to see it. In other words, there is no back to the tree, right? It's only the front half of the tree, which is so clever because it only takes up half the space and you only have to decorate the front half. So I thought I would just show you all. I know some of you have seen it before. I've managed to get thank goodness, the star actually is still up there. It was looking very wonky earlier today when I was doing the broadcast. So I got this tree, just so that you know, after Christmas, probably about 5 years ago. I still paid a lot for it because it is a special tree, because it's half tree, but I certainly got it at a really good price. And I'd been looking for a half tree for the longest time. Yes, you've got a tree for people with cats. It doesn't have the bottom half of the tree. Cats will still get to the top half, believe you me. So for those of you, let me just try and think here what we need to do. We need to do some thoughts and prayers. Lauren, how's your sister doing? That's the thing I wanted to check on. For those of you who don't know, Lauren's sister originally got rushed to hospital because they thought she was having strokes, and they then realized that, and she was having like one a day, an average, and then they realized that maybe they weren't strokes. Maybe it had to do with a very vicious sort of migraine that was causing stuff. And I totally related to that because, as I was telling Lauren, I have twice ended up in ICU because of a migraine that had all the symptoms of a heart attack. Hi, Marie. Good to see you. So these migraines can be really nasty if you get the wrong sort. And the first time it happened to me, I kept saying it can't be a migraine. I don't have a headache. All right, so Lauren is saying Louise is home and getting better each day. Good to hear. She does have some memory loss. She got into her car today and couldn't remember how to drive. That's probably a good thing that she doesn't do that for a while then. Yeah, and you were saying she had some other memory issues. I wonder why it would cause. That sounds more like a stroke to me than a migraine. What did the doctor say, Lauren? And hopefully she will get that memory back again. The silly thing is the doctor didn't tell her not to drive. Well, you know something, if she's got any sort of memory loss going on, she should not be driving. I mean, hopefully she's intelligent enough not to know that. I always used to say to people that if I don't feel well enough to drive, I shouldn't be. Do you know what I mean? Because if you do drive when you're not well, you're putting other people's lives at risk. And I really think that is a no-no in my book anyway. And I know there have been a couple of times where I was judged for that at work. And I said, I'm really sorry, but if I don't feel well enough to drive, I'm not coming. Yeah, she walks into rooms and doesn't know why she's there. I know that problem. I'm sorry to admit I know that problem quite well. That problem and I are very well related. Like opening up the fridge. Why did I open up the fridge? Then you close it and go back to the bedroom and go, oh, I know why. But I'm not making fun of your sister. Yeah, I remember that. Lauren saying the day she came home, she couldn't remember how to do anything. She knew that she needed to ring for help, but couldn't remember how to use her phone. Wow. Oh, Maria's saying that her boss at her first job in is that North Carolina? Didn't understand migraines, didn't believe in migraines. Well, yeah, that's fine for somebody who's never had them. You know, and it's the same thing as I can remember we had a viewer here one day, Marie, who said they didn't believe in sick days. I don't pay you to be sick, I pay you to come to work. And he was really quite adamant about it, which I thought was interesting. And he thought I would, nuke him as a viewer. And I said, no, I think you're entitled to that view. And I'd like you to talk a bit more about it because it's important for employees to hear how you feel about it. And he really was. He said, he's fed up with, paying people to be at work and then being told that they can stay off and be paid. She needs to have a Doppler test. Really? And make sure there aren't any clots forming. Okay, that's good to hear. So they still think it's a migraine, Lauren? Wow, and now you've got somebody who doesn't count your migraine days as sick days. That's very unusual. Maybe somebody who themselves has migraines. Well, anyway, so we've got the update on Louise. Jody told me that she is sort of nothing too unusual going on there. I mean, the same old, right? I did put up an update from Erin on Facebook. I haven't heard from Alice this week, so I can't give you an update there. Hi, Beth. Good to see you. And by the way, for those of you who might be watching for the first time, please click the bell down here. That'll make sure that you get advised if I'm about to do a broadcast. And if you want to get a 35-minute warning of broadcasts, follow us on DearMamaSal on Facebook and on Twitter. What I'm inclined to do is I put up a 35-minute warning on both those when I'm about to do a broadcast. So hopefully that will help some of you. All right, now then, let me see what we've got here. The only birthday I know about is Pat's coming up on Sunday, I think. So that's interesting. Hi, Nyasha. Welcome back. Yes, Kerry was at the lunchtime broadcast. She didn't say very much, but she was there. I wanted to do special thoughts and prayers for all those people up in Alaska who just got caught in that earthquake that they had. The reason I say that, it's bad enough that you have an earthquake and you're forced out of your house and you don't have any hydro or gas. But to do that in Alaska with the temperatures they've got at the moment really is so scary. And the other thing is that there was a lot of damage done to roads and things. And that was really scary because that means an awful lot of people aren't going to be able to get to the store to get provisions. So let's please keep them in our thoughts and prayers. It was really quite, I believe it was a 7. I even heard 7.2 at one point. So it was quite a serious earthquake. For those of you who know things about, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Right, the Honduras migrant, yes, and their migrants and their children. Yes, those caught south of the border. I think this is a humanitarian disaster in the making, quite honestly. I think what will happen is the UN might have to come in and help on this one because it's pretty obvious that the US isn't going to help them. So it's really sad. I quite agree with you, Jamie. Thank you for reminding me. I was just watching a little bit about it earlier, and they are in conditions that are so, quite honestly, that look rather like conditions that we saw after Katrina. You know, in other words, we shouldn't have to be seeing things like that. But that's just it. All right. So in terms of one step at a time, let's move on to our broadcast. And I'm going to do that because I realize that my one step at a time is about Christmas. So I'm going to do a time check for approximately 13 minutes, Jody, if you wouldn't mind just making a note of that for me. How many of you have got your overseas Christmas cards in the mail? Done. It doesn't matter where you live. Have you got your overseas Christmas cards in the mail? For the first year, my answer is yes. I can't believe I did it. I promised myself I was going to get them in the mail before December the 1st. And I did. I got them in today. So if you haven't got your overseas cards in yet, please put them at the priority list. Yes, Jody's done hers as well. Yeah, and you, Jody. Doesn't it feel better, honey? I was so proud of myself. Well, that's why we're doing the countdown, Beth. So the next thing on the countdown will be what's a great gesture? Nyasha. Sorry, I didn't understand what the credit card is about. Yeah, Jody, I want to tell you, I literally went today and I was patting myself on the back the whole way there. And I just, and I handed them over to the ladies at the post office. Why would you need a credit card for that? I wasn't, oh, because it's expensive? Is that why? Oh, yeah. So anyway, I've got mine done and Jody's got hers done. So now for those of us who are there, let's just back up, because the next thing on our list then is cards to those people close. In other words, cards to Canada for those of you in the US, Canada, or Mexico. And then for those of us in Canada, obviously our US cards need to go next. And I would say somewhere in the next week would be safe. You're pretty sure that they're going to get there. So that is the that is the recommendation that I have. Get your Christmas cards in the mail. If they're going internationally and you get them in the mail early next week, you might have a chance. I actually did small packets this year. I had a little present in each of them, nothing very much, enough that it could go in a small package. And that really worked well. You have to, well, I don't know. You don't have any Christmas cards? Okay, we're talking about actually sending Christmas cards, Nyasha. Well, if I actually made my Christmas cards, I didn't buy them. That's why it took me a while. I made my Christmas cards this year. Not fancy, but I made them. I spent the time to make them, so that's it. Anyway, so this week, yeah. This week, start concentrating on so Nana's saying she sent Ali's up and has eaten her way through the candy. Yeah, that's easy to do, isn't it? And is wearing the clothes. Well, that's awesome. So you've done that. Yes, Beth, I'm not surprised you're falling behind on everything. That was our big fear, if you remember, when you took on this new job, that it was going to catch up with you with everything else that you do. I actually have to say something, Jody, that I was quite surprised. I actually did the dough for my shortbread last night. I've been eating my way. I think I'm the only one that likes mincemeat pies. Do you know what I mean? The English mincemeat, which is like, I don't know, how do you describe mincemeat? It's got nothing to do with meat. It's candied fruit. And I've been making a couple of miniature ones for myself every night. I'm allowed 2 miniature ones every night. And so I'm thoroughly enjoying them. It's my sort of treat. Yes, they're raisins and fruit, spiced fruit. Yes, they're very tasty. If you grew up eating them, which I did, Christmas is not the same without them. So that's definitely what I did. So has Jody, I think you've already got some dough in the freezer, right? What have you done already in terms of dough? I did that shortbread that you have to whip up for 10 minutes. Do any of you know what I'm talking about? You don't just whip it up. You have to stand there for 10 minutes with the whisk going, the beaters going for 10 minutes. It's a long time, 10 minutes. You're amazed how bored you get. We live in an instant gratification world. Yes, molasses cookies. Would they be like ginger snaps, but not quite? Jody's going to do the whipped shortbread next. Okay, yes, it's really good. I really recommend it. But the only thing is that I had to put it all into containers and freeze it immediately because I would have eaten it. I would have added that to the mincemeat pies, and then I would have been in even more trouble. So, yeah, that's what I would recommend is if you are going to bake, just try, if you can, and get a couple of lots of dough already in the freezer so that it makes life that much easier for you in a couple of weeks. Of course, I'm fighting against December before even Christmas, so that is my big thing. Now, what are walnut tassies? I I don't know what they are, unless they're like my homemade turtles. Next on my list will be the chocolate-covered marshmallows. Where you actually just dip the marshmallows into chocolate and then into score-barred bits. Yeah, I know that Nana won't be able to eat those because they are too much sugar, but they are so good. I might have to quality control some of those, I must say. All right, so what else have we got on the countdown? Anyway, so this week I will be concentrating on the cards to go to the States. That would be my next area of concentration. Lauren's saying she's had a craving to make M&M cookies. Yeah. The trick is not to eat them yet. Okay, so now then, these what are they called? Walnut tassies, just a little cup of cream cheese pastry dough filled with walnut filling, made in a mini muffin tin. Cream cheese pastry dough. I've never heard of that. Filled with a chopped walnut filling. That almost sounds like a butter tart type thing. But it's a cream cheese pastry dough. Wow, that's new to me. I've never had that I know of. Let us know when you do the quality control whether they're worth making. Yeah. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we cook the stuff that we haven't tried all year? We've had all year to try these recipes out, right? Well, Nyasha, I don't think, that has, if the spirit of Christmas is correct, I don't believe that, I'm saying this, that you can still enjoy Christmas without all the goodies. Enjoying Christmas is a state of mind and stress-free. I would look at what you can do to enjoy Christmas. Let me ask you that, Nyasha. This is something that we've been trying to work with you on. Don't think about what you can't do. Think about what you can. Hi, Erin. Thank you for the comment on the tree. It isn't finished yet, but I've managed to get it that far. Yeah, Nana's saying she has to try and keep Rick out of the candy while she puts, the girls' stockings together. I totally understand that. Yeah, I think Nana also, can't eat sweets. So, but that doesn't stop her enjoying Christmas. Yeah. So, Nyasha, do you understand what we're saying here? It's like if you say, "Oh, I can't enjoy Christmas because I can't have candy," um, that is so sad. I would be saying, "What can I have that I enjoy?" So, can I ask those of you who are diabetic, what do you eat that you can enjoy at Christmas? So, what special thing can you make for yourself that is healthy? Oh, seafood. Okay, you enjoy seafood. I actually, funny enough, I know this sounds really strange. Um, yeah, So this is the whole thing, Nyasha, all right? I need you to, if you can, really give your head a shake every time you hear yourself say, "Oh, I can't enjoy Christmas because." That is a state of mind, all right? That is a self-inflicted wound. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Nyasha. You're not the only one. Nana can't eat things like that either, and Jody is restricted as well. And Erin can't. So you understand, you're not alone. Quite a few of the viewers can't eat either, but they make Christmas happy in other ways. Okay, so in terms of the keto diet, which is very challenging, let me ask you something. What are you planning to make on a keto diet? That's interesting. Yes, that's a very good point. The make sure you drink if you do end up accidentally having something, make sure you have plenty of water and eat protein. Yes, there are some good quality sugar-free chocolates and candies. I've seen um, sugar-free candies as well, and I tried them once just out of interest, and they weren't bad. I was quite surprised. Now, so Isabel, tell me about what you're planning to cook and eat on a keto diet. Ah, Marie says be careful of those sugar-free candies. If you eat too many of them, you'll have the not far from homes. You'll be That's interesting. I didn't know that. We spend all day on the toilet. I've never noticed that. That's interesting. Yes, interesting. I bought some almond butter this time, Isabel. I've never had almond butter before, but I decided to do that. So you actually will bake with almond flour. We've got one viewer who is gluten free, and I said there must be ways of cooking bread and flatbreads and stuff without gluten. There's a type of alcohol in sugar-free candies that has a laxative effect. That's very good to know. Nana says, I drink wine. Is that keto? Yeah, I wonder whether it is. Yeah, I thought they had all sorts of gluten-free flours. I've been trying to make my own actually. Um, I I've done fasting 2 weeks in a row. Only because the first time I did it, I was wrong. Um, I was going for a blood test. By the way, I had real problems with my blood test this time. It was one of the worst times I've ever had. Very difficult indeed. Um, First of all, have any of you ever suffered from vertigo? Because I had 2 serious bouts of vertigo while I was, in for blood tests. And the other thing was that, you probably can you see the bruising on my hand? Um, they tried to take it from my hand, and, it didn't work too well. They got less than a vial. You know, they needed 4 vials of blood, and they got less than a vial out of this vein before it said, "Go away." And then they did, on this hand. I have to have it done from my hand, Marie. I can't have it taken from my elbows. My veins disappear completely when you try and take blood there. I learnt that as a young person. Although taking it from your hand is far more painful, it actually is quicker for me. And it beats having 16 holes in your elbow, in an elbow. Yes, Beth. You see, that's what I run into the problem with, because you have to do a 10-hour fasting where you only drink water. And then, of course, what I end up doing is dehydrating, and that makes the veins not very cooperative. I reckon they just don't like to share. They're a bit like their owner. But it was probably the most difficult blood test I've had in quite a while. I'm hoping that that is the bad news and that there isn't any bad news in the results. You know what I mean? I think I've been through my little thing there. Um, Nyasha said, and the sad is that my birthday is on New Year's Day. Can we make a note of that, please, Jody? That should be a celebration time for me, but can't have what I like. I can't have Brad Pitt either, Nyasha. You know what I mean? There are things in life that we can't have. And the trick to happiness is not to concentrate on what you can't have. Make a big deal about what you can. So, for example, when I was going through this and the terror of the vertigo that was going on, I kept thinking how lucky I was. Um, right. I was really, yeah, I literally was saying, I'm so glad to be having these problems, because I'm certain there are people that had problems like this that didn't live to tell the tale. Yes, I understand that you're glad it's your birthday, but you can't celebrate the way as I should. I can't celebrate with Brad Pitt the way that I should, in my view. But it doesn't stop me enjoying myself. Do you understand what we're saying here, Nyasha? Yeah, I need you to get out of this mentality about what you can't do, and really start working on what you can do. When you do that, you're going to be a much happier person. If you want to be, or you can spend the rest of your time complaining about the things you can't do. How many of you found that, by the way? How many of you found out that if you concentrate on the what you can do, you're a happier person? And I'm thinking about people, like Jody and Erin and Nana with not being able to eat sugar. Yeah, it's really, honey, you make your life very miserable when you do that. I can do the same thing. I wish I could still run around like a 30-year-old or a 20-year-old. I can't. It takes me 3 times as long to do anything than it used to. And I can either accept it and make my life as pleasant as I can with that, or I can sit and moan about it. But I don't think that sitting and moaning about it makes me happy. It just makes me a pain for other people. All right. So what I want to do is, as I said, as painful as this was, getting bruised up like this and everything else, as painful as it was, I kept thinking about the person trying to do the test to draw the blood. And I kept saying to her, I'm so sorry that my veins are not friendly to you, because I'm certain this must be horrible for you. And, knowing that she's got to get 4 vials of blood out of somebody, and literally the blood the blood was coming out of my veins by the drop. You know what I mean? It was not easy. And so I look at it and I go, I said to her, I'm so grateful that, you've got a sense of humor, because otherwise we'd both be pretty stressed. All right. Yes, you want to eat lots of cake and candies, but you can't. So that's like a no-brainer. So again, what can you eat that is enjoyable? That's what Nana is trying to find out. What can you eat? Yeah, Jodie's saying that as well. She finds out that when you focus on what you can do, it has a positive snowball effect. Yes, I literally, even when I'm, busy trying to do the Christmas stuff, I keep saying to myself, oh, I need to go and do X, Y, and Z. Well, I can't. I'm waiting for something to dry. But what can you do in the meantime? All right. I keep saying, but what can you do? Hi, Sharon. Good to see you, stranger. You're trying, but it's hard. Yes, it is hard. I quite agree. How do you change your mindset? You stop concentrating on the negative. That's only you can do that. Nobody else can do it for you. Literally every time you need to just get a wake up call. Erin will tell you. So, oh, that's the good news, by the way. Lauren heard that she is getting her new wheelchair. Erin's saying she can't have a wheelchair accessible house or the van that she needs in order to be with her friends, but I still find ways to make the best of my situation. Yes. Now, think about that, Nyasha, that Erin needs to have, uh, a wheelchair. Actually, you basically need a gurney half the time, Erin, from what I've seen. But she doesn't have what she needs. What happened to your electric wheelchair? Oh, you need a wheelchair accessible house. Yes, exactly. And both you and Jody need a van. Totally get that. So, but again, let's concentrate on what you can do. So, Nyasha, we're going to keep rattling your cage on this one. You will eventually understand and make the change. I can eat a little piece of ham and bread. So, what can your body process? That's what we're trying to find out, Nyasha. What are you allowed to eat? Yes, Erin has mobility, and correct me where I'm wrong on this, Erin. Erin has mobility of part of one arm and one hand and an incredibly sharp mind. She has cerebral palsy. I think I got it right this time. And really is 80% of her body she can't move. She has to have somebody move it. So, as she says, concentrating on the positive, so much better for you. It's better for your health and better for your mindset. Things come to you more quickly. Yes, that's quite right, Erin. And I found that as well. For example, I wanted to, I hope some of you don't burst out laughing on this one, but is there anybody else out there that doesn't like to take pills? Because somewhere in my upbringing, I was taught if you take a lot of pills when you need them, they won't work. And I was sitting here in pain and just before the broadcast, and it was so funny because I thought, you know, at what age am I allowed to take the pills? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I can sit here in pain for the broadcast, or I can go and take a couple of pills and make it a lot easier on myself. So, but what I'm really concerned about, and I've got to give some serious thought to, is how I'm going to sit through 24 hours of December. So, what I wanted to ask you in terms of Christmas, are you finding that you are spending more or less on Christmas this year? I did want to ask that question because I think a lot of people, including myself, are on a much tighter budget than they were maybe a couple of years ago. And I've really found that I have scaled back a great deal. Ah, hi, Cindy. It's nice to see your lovely Christmas tree. Thank you. Say hello from Hong Kong, Cindy. Good to see you. Yes, you go right ahead. You do your chores, honey. I'll still be chit-chatting away here. Yes. Okay. So Jody and Nana both saying that and I definitely am spending less than normal. Yes. Okay. So, that's quite all right. I'm not going to repeat that, Nyasha, because maybe not everybody would understand that. So the question is, um, what can you eat that will counteract that? I'm sure Beth's got lots of ideas on that one. Have you tried frozen prunes? I love to freeze prunes. They're very tasty when they're frozen. Um, yes, Sharon is saying spending less, saving for new flooring and baseboards. Exactly. You see, I think that's a good Christmas present to yourself. Now, you all know that I already bought my Christmas present to myself. And, that I cannot believe the difference it's made in my house, quite honestly. I mean, I'm just still sitting here and I keep looking at my house going, I don't know how he does this, but it's very, very, it's very good. And, do you think there's something wrong with me that I talk to my robot vacuum cleaner? Hi, Clarence. Time for you to go to work. And it's just like a kid. When kids go quiet, you're going, what are they up to? If I can't hear Clarence, I'm going, what? Where is he? Where did he go? And I have to hunt him down and find him. Jody, I want to tell you, I cannot find what I did with my little CPAP pack sterilizer gizmo. I put it somewhere carefully, and I don't know where. You knew there was something wrong with me years ago. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'll find it next year for sure. I think I got it in my head that there was something in my house that I wanted to try it on. And that's the last I saw of it. Yes, Nana, I do pray to St. Anthony of lost things. Yes. Yeah, Sharon, you would be fascinated to hear the conversations I have with my cleaning robot. Yeah. I literally do. It's like I'm amazed I'm not going, sit, stay. That's where I put it, was in the cupboard. I thought I put it in the cupboard, Jody, but I can't find it. I looked where I thought I'd put it. Oh well. St. Anthony will help me find it by accident. I love it when he does that. So what did you all see the box? That I finished last week? Yeah, it's in a drawer or it's in a cupboard somewhere. Yep. I put it somewhere to work and it's be out of battery by now. Did you see the box, Nana? Okay, hold on a second, because it is worth seeing. You remember seeing the box that I was going to paint? Did you see that? If you didn't see it originally, then it won't make a lot of sense. Oh, okay. Oh, well, let me just get it anyway. Hang on. Okay. And the reason I wanted to show it to you is because even though this looks gray, it isn't. It's actually a sort of pale blue. This is just a box that I had that I painted. Yeah, and I'm going to put a really fancy bow on it, Nana. Some really nice white ribbon and a fancy bow. And the box itself is a present, quite honestly. So what I was trying to say to people is, sometimes you can, make the box the present. And I'm going to be doing that with a couple of other boxes that I collected this year. Thank you for the nice comment about the tree. It's not finished yet. I'm not joking. I had to go through 9 boxes to find the decorations. And you know that the decorations were in the very last box that I pulled out of the garage. But you remember, I think it was God having a sense of humor, because you remember I said I need to pull all my Christmas boxes out and reorganize them to downsize them. And I think God heard me on that one and made me pull out all of the boxes before I could find the decorations. I literally went very funny. Yeah. So I'm actually how's the stress level about Christmas, everybody? Oh, good. Sharon's got a great tip. I pressed 8 tablecloths for my dad's 80th birthday, then had to get them to the church unwrinkled. Got a pool noodle and loosely rolled them on the noodle. Very clever idea. Very clever idea, Sharon. I found pool noodles are also very useful if you got a snorer in the house. If you put a pool noodle next to them, it's difficult for them to roll over onto their back. And a ball works really well, actually a tennis ball. And how was the 80th? Pressing 8 tablecloths, that alone is hard work. Now, you do all know how to press thank you, Beth. You do all know how to press a pillowcase after you've washed it, right? Without getting anywhere near an iron. I don't know about you. I do like my pillowcases to look like they've been pressed, even though I don't bring out an iron. Well, Sharon, I'm really pleased to hear that, because I think there were 2 conflicting events at the same time. Why do I have that in my mind? That you were doing the 80th and there was something else going on at the same week or something. That a relative of yours was doing. 53 people. Isn't that wonderful? That is amazing. I'm sure that he was very grateful. Well, here's what I found. If you've got anything that is woven, whether it is a pillowcase or a T-shirt or whatever, literally just take a spritz bottle. You know what I mean? Something you can spray, and spray it on the material and pull it both ways. Anything that is woven has fibers going this way and fibers going this way. If you spritz them with water and just gently pull them in both directions, the wrinkles will disappear. And that's what people don't understand. If you want to, for example, if you want to do tablecloths, you can spritz them and then literally with your hands just take the creases out of them. It is amazing how that works. And that's what I do with my pillowcases. I know they're going to come out of the dryer looking a bit wrinkled, but I'll put them on the pillow and then I'll spritz them and stretch them. And then as they dry, they dry as though they've been ironed. I love that. My duvet does the same thing. So, yeah. So anyway, I just want to tell you that my go-to thing is just a bottle of water. It's amazing what it does in a spritzer. What do you call that? Spray can, a spray bottle. It does a wonderful job on so many things, more than you realize. And for example, a tablecloth, put it on the table first and then, literally spritz it sort of damp and then stretch it. And as it dries, it'll dry beautifully. Yeah, I can remember in the old days, and in my case, it was very long time ago, that all the sheets were spritzed and then they were pulled. I can remember them doing that, and I know why they did that. Because it does take the creases out. Yeah. So, just a thought. All right, now Jody. Jody, I want to concentrate on you because you were saying you were falling behind on some of the Christmas stuff. And what I was saying to Jody earlier in the week was, and I think that's something we might all think about, is if we don't dedicate some time and focus on it, we will keep having excuses and do other things. I find that there's so many other things I want to do other than get the tree up. There's so many other things I want to do instead of, do whatever. And so what I found is if I want to get these things done, I have to literally focus. I have to say, this is the hour and this is what I'm going to do. For example, I am going out to visit a friend tomorrow, and I had it on my focus moment today that between the broadcasts, I needed to go out, put the international cards in the mail, come back, wrap the presents for this friend of mine and her family. And I didn't get to stop until that was done. Yes, Jody, I'm going to encourage you, but what I want to know is what is your target for this week? And in fact, everybody that's on the broadcast, what is it that you want to get done this week so that you can give a commitment? And when you give a commitment, you're more likely to get it done. I definitely am going to make at least one more dough and do the US cards in the coming week. Finish the tree. Okay, so Jody, you're going to start making the shortbread. You're going to make the shortbread dough and start your cards. Now, why don't you yeah, a minimum of how many cards, Jody? And the reason I say that, if you just say start the cards, you can get them out of the box and that would be starting it. I want to know how many you want to finish this week. Anybody else that hasn't got their international cards in the mail, this would be the week. You're already late. Jody, 10 cards. Wow, that's a lot. But I believe that you can do it, otherwise you wouldn't have said it. And you will feel so proud of yourself to get 10 cards out this week. I'm not joking. You will feel so proud. All right, so Sharon is saying she wants to be shopping for gifts and baking supplies. Yes, we have family baking day on the 8th. What a nice thing. I used to do that with a friend of mine. We used to bake together at Christmas time, around about this time of the year. That was in the days before I started December, which takes up rather a lot of my time now. But yes, so I already have my baking supplies. I'm quite surprised. I did well on that this year. Beth is going to do everything the week before Christmas. Yeah. I can't do that to myself anymore, Beth. I just don't have the stamina for that. Beth, I was really thinking about that if Kim comes on. Kim was talking to us about the fact that she can't eat wheat. She can't eat regular bread. And I'm saying there's so many things that you can eat that aren't with with wheat. I'm amazed. I found by accident, no, actually, it wasn't by accident. I was looking. I found some chia crackers, chia seed crackers. I think they're chia seed and rice flour. Oh, they are so tasty. And I allow myself a handful of those, and they really are very, very tasty. And I always used to eat my winter crackers, but since I found these chia seed things, I much prefer those. It's interesting. Beth, you have started something, yeah, for Jody and I that is difficult for us to explain to you. I'm not losing weight, but I know I'm eating a lot better. Yes, I thought that's why I got them, Jody. So if you find them, do you want me to get the box so you can see what they're called? I think Black Diamond makes them, but they are really tasty. So if you'd like to see the box, I'll get it for you. Yeah, okay, hold on a sec. Yeah. Yeah, Beth, you can see the box. It's Beth, I have to tell you something. I actually can hear you talking to me when I order stuff now. They're called Black Diamond Artisan Nut Fins. And, excuse the French. All right, what do you need to know, Beth? I'm sure you're going to ask me questions about the side of the box. Ask me the questions, Beth. They are 130 calories for 13 of them. They're quite small. They're this sort of size. Very crispy. Very crispy. 3 grams of protein, 0.1 of omega-3, 24 grams of whole grain, no wheat or gluten. And when I saw that, I thought Beth will be very pleased with that. Okay, Beth. Anything you want to know off the side of the box? Speak to me and I will tell you. 3 grams of fat, but yeah, okay, ingredients. Brown rice flour, almonds, brown rice, potato starch, chia seeds, sea salts, safflower oil, natural almond, and natural butter flavor. Contains milk and almonds. I knew you'd be pleased. There's none of that funny stuff in it. And they really are tasty. That, I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but it's one thing that it has the right stuff in it. It's definitely another when they're tasty. And I have those with some almond butter or some peanut butter, because Beth tells me I can have that. Anyway, so surprisingly good. That's why I thought I'd mention it. They actually have Blue Diamond almonds, artisan nut thins with chia seeds. Yep. Well, the funny thing is, Beth, that I literally can hear you. I had a roll today and I felt like I had just committed the greatest sin. I literally had a bread roll. and I went, I never thought twice about having a roll, but I don't know if any of you relate to that. It was, I was going, I obviously haven't had a roll in some time that I felt so guilty, but I literally took it out of the freezer and I put it in the oven. Do you know you can do that with a roll? Is take it out frozen and put it in the toaster oven for like about 15 minutes, and it will end up being a really beautiful crispy roll. It's just amazing how it makes it crispy on the outside, but also defrosts it at the same time. And I literally had a roll, and I was almost hiding in my kitchen because I was eating bread. Now, Beth, that must tell you something. I want to tell you, I don't stay on a healthy diet. I'd love to tell you that I do, but I'm certainly doing a lot better. Um, yeah, and you see, this is, I think this is um, self-control is the answer, right, Beth? Um, h- how do you stay on a healthy diet? That is a choice. And, I hear you when you say, I try to, but I still get distracted a lot. I do as well. But I definitely am eating more healthily than I was a year ago. You purchase the correct snacks, but I still crave the unhealthy ones. Yeah, I think, like anything else in life, Nyasha, it's a case of who are you fooling, right? In other words, you're the one that chooses to have the unhealthy stuff. Nobody's forcing you to eat that, right? And as Sharon so rightly says, that, I mean, I had a Mars bar today. Why? It's Friday. And I was in the store and it was there talking to me. So I had a Mars bar. Um, Now, I say it's Friday because Fridays is one of my days where I don't eat as well because I do 2 broadcasts. And therefore, I can actually afford to eat some not so good stuff because I don't eat as much on a Friday anyway. That's my excuse and I stick to it. But Beth, I have to tell you that whole conversation that you kept having about pre-prepping food has changed my life, and I know it's changed Jodie's as well. Has anybody else been trying this? Because I want to tell you, it has just totally changed the way that I look at food. Yes, think of it as a lifestyle choice, not a diet. Yes. And I look at it, um, yes, Beth, you said that. You said that it's okay to cheat, but one day you'll prefer the good stuff. Keep going with the mostly good. I am amazed how little meat I am craving now. In fact, I have to sort of force myself to eat some meat because I know it's protein. Um, but this whole idea of being able to go to my fridge and pull a box full of food, and that food will be grapes and apples and maybe a whole wheat tortilla with lettuce in it, lettuce and cream cheese, maybe, and I look at it um, and I'm going, I can't believe that I do this willingly now. What is it that you want? Hang on. You want it, but each time when you go to the dietitian, she advises you not to. So you don't. Okay, what is it that you don't have? Sorry, I wasn't quite sure to what you refer. I definitely find that boxing up the good food has made all the difference in my life. I even got myself some string cheese because I know that's protein. And it's just like as Jody says, what happened to me? you know, I literally, Beth, this is hard for even me to believe of myself, but I literally will have real food, as I call it, And I will find that I eat the vegetables and I end up throwing most of the meat away now. Is that usual? I mean, it's really weird. I'm starting to really enjoy vegetables. So, Nyasha, what I'm learning is, yeah. So the interesting thing is how quickly that seems to affect you eating the right foods. So times there's a reason why we crave sugar and processed food. It's tasty and it gives us comfort. But there is another way to be comforted without using food as the excuse. Yes. And you know something, Beth? That is so true, right? That I know that that's my sugar thing, right? When I'm feeling stress, I want sugar, which is why I had to make the shortbread dough and immediately freeze it all so that I didn't play with it. Because I know there's nothing healthy in shortbread. Butter is good for you. There's a lot of butter in it. But Beth. Hi, Lizzie. How are you doing, honey? So, Lizzie, did you see the box last week? That's what I wanted to check, is whether you saw the box after I'd painted it. Because I kept thinking that you would be so good at doing that, Lizzie. Yes, Beth, and that's what Jody and I are finding, that our willingness to eat better is increasing. It's really weird. I'm actually, I'm hoping eventually I will lose weight with it, but I'm not doing very well on that at the moment. Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that we all understand that nothing in life is about perfection. Everything in life is about taking one step more in the right direction. All right. So if you tell yourself, I can't ever eat a Mars bar again, you're going to want to eat Mars bars twice as much. I allow myself a Mars bar when I'm shopping. That's my treat when I go shopping. I allow myself a Mars bar. Um, I don't go shopping very often in a store. I order my groceries and go pick them up. So if I'm actually in a store, I will allow myself a Mars bar, which I did today, which was wonderful. Is there a way to see the chat on a mobile on YouTube? Anybody here on a mobile that knows how to answer that? Yes, I think the question I would have, Nyasha, is can you make a swap? In other words, can you not have real sugar and have something in place of sugar, like honey? Um, I don't know. I mean, that you'd have to speak to your nutritionist about, or your dietitian. But to me, it's all about what swap can I make? Because I think when you can not deprive yourself, if you say to yourself, I can't ever have this, it's very difficult. Yes, Jody, she wants to know, how does she see the chat? How do you see the chat on a phone? Is there a little arrow somewhere where you can pull it up? I don't know. I haven't got my phone with me. So, is there a way to see my beautiful face, the tree, and the chat at the same time? Well, I'm thinking about things like stevia or something, Nyasha. It's more expensive than sugar, although, but that's what I've done. What I did, I cut my sugar intake by half cutting, by cutting, half and half. And I use brown sugar rather than white because I reckon it's less process. I could be totally wrong in that. Yes, honey is a natural sugar. So have you discussed that with your dietitian, Nyasha? When you go next see your dietitian, ask her, explain what the problem is. Ah, there you go, Cindy. You're a star in Hong Kong. Cindy says, I'm using my phone. There's a little message icon on the right top corner of my screen. When I touch the video. Okay, so have a look for that if you can, Lizzie. I just wanted to know, Lizzie, if you saw the box that I painted. Because when I did it, I kept thinking that's a really nice way to make something, upcycle something. I'll have to have a look, see whether I can find it. I haven't got my phone with me at the moment, otherwise I'd check it on mine. What sort of phone have you got, Lizzie, just so that we can get an idea? All right, so you're not allowed to have sugar. So then what you need to ask your dietitian is, what can you have in place of sugar? All right? Find out what you can have. Remember what I said? Don't concentrate on what you can't have. Concentrate on what you can have. But all right, so we've got other people that are diabetic in the room. Nana, what do you have to substitute sugar? Or have you just learned to do without it? Ah, nice one, Sharon. Sharon saying, below the picture, I see an icon that says live chat. On iPad, the chat box is linked in the description. Just click it. Okay, so Nana has learned to do without sugar. All right. Not substitute it. She just learned to not have it. And how long did it take you to be well behaved on that? Beth, the other thing I'm finding, which is really weird, I no longer cook. If for example, I did a roast beef and Yorkshire pudding on Sunday, and I literally now do not do just roast potatoes. I literally do, for every potato, I do one yam. And so what I'm doing is I'm roasting yams the way I would potatoes, which cuts down my potato intake by quite a bit. So again, I wouldn't have thought that I would do that willingly, but I do like the taste of yams. And I found that really helps me. Now, I must admit that last night I decided I really wanted a baked potato. But, I didn't take a big one like I normally would. I actually took one about this size. Yeah, I need a refill of my coffee. Now I'm trying to get to the foam at the bottom there. That it's always a challenge for me. My finger will work. Mhm. There we go. I hate to waste the foam, you see. I'm bad, aren't I? Mhm, mhm. All right, so Erin says, "I have to see on being without sugar. It's only been 10 months without for me, and I've learned to be without because my life depends on it. I cheat sometimes, but it's not a lot." Yes, I think you learn that, right? That's good. I've never had a yam before. Is it weird? No, I love the taste of yams. Um, so that's how I've reduced my potato intake. Why am I still putting on weight? I have no idea. Um, right. So Erin can't have sugar, caffeine, or many carbs. So that's quite a restriction, Erin. But when you know that you can't, right, you just make the adjustment. The price you pay if you do is too great. And the same with Nana. I've heard Nana say that a number of times that occasionally she does have sugar, but she pays the price for it, so it's not worth it. Um, and again, I go, Nana, I always have been so blessed, whenever I've gone to visit Nana, she's always baked a cake or something. She's doesn't punish everybody else with the fact she can't have it. And so, I go to Nana's place and I just go, wow, and look at that, I even got cake. Yeah, we all make mistakes. Yeah, don't hate them. Be grateful you have them to eat. Yeah, and it always amuses me, Nana, that you are that kind. Um, yes, and candy. That's right. I'm like a kid in a candy store when I go to visit Nana's. She goes, "I've got chocolate. Would you like some?" All right, so um, Nyasha, the thing is this that we've all got our addictions. I mean, I smoked for 60 something years and I gave up smoking. So the trick is you have to want to do it. Yes, Nana, you see, so you look at it. We all, have, as I've said so many times, everybody that is part of the broadcast they each have their crosses to bear. Right? Some people are physically challenged. Some people are mentally challenged. We are all challenged people. We live on Earth, right? And so, what I think, Nyasha, is just keep doing what everybody's talking about. Keep taking steps in the right direction, right? So, we all have difficult lives in some way. As I said, Erin spends her life on a bed, basically stuck in one or two positions. And yet she is one of the happiest people I know on a good day. Now, I'm sure she has her bad ones, but she doesn't concentrate on the bad ones. She allows herself to have a bad day, but that isn't how she lives her life. She lives her life laughing a great deal. Yeah, and gave you Rick. Nana, I keep thinking about, boy. Okay, Lizzie. Lizzie, did you see the box? That's all I want to know. Well done, Lizzie. What I love about you is you don't quit. I think Lizzie has that part in her as well. Okay. So did you see the box originally? It was purple. Okay. And I just thought it was a great box. This is what I did to it. So Lizzie, I kept thinking, yeah, I know you don't quit. Yeah, how about that, Lizzie? I just literally, I painted the whole thing white to start with. I gave it one coat of white, and then I put the other color on top of it. This is actually a pale blue. I know it looks gray in the thing, but doesn't that look great? I really was quite pleased with it. And I was thinking, that saves an awful lot of money on, yeah, it almost looks like marble, right? But it saves a lot of money on wrapping paper. This was a box I had, and I'm going to do a few more of them before Christmas for the people in my life. And the other thing, Lizzie, that I was thinking about is it's a box that they can keep if they want to. So I'm hoping, because I know you've got paint, and you know me. I knew you would, Lizzie. That's why I wanted to make sure you saw it. But hang on a sec. Okay, so the one I'm going to try this week is just this one. I have a present that will fit in here. And so I'm going to put it like this, Lizzie, and then pour paint over it so that it flows down over here. And we'll see how that looks. That's my task for next week. Yeah. Yeah, Lizzie. That's why I wanted to show you the box. Do you have some house paint lying around as well? Yeah. And so really the main trick is do a base color. Yeah, that's what I thought. Do a base color. My base color is either a black or a white or a gray. And then just so that, and then, just literally sprinkle the other paints over it. And I use a palette knife just to go across them. If you've got a bit of WD-40 or a little bit of olive oil, drop it into the paint before you. I use acrylic all the time. That what you just saw was acrylic paint. Yep. And it's great fun to do, Lizzie. Makes a big mess. I was covered in paint by the time I finished that box. I had paint, Lizzie, I had paint everywhere. It was so bad that I literally left my studio and I walked straight into the shower wearing the clothes, and I showered wearing the clothes. You know what I mean? That's how much. Yeah, go play, Lizzie. Think things like, what do you call them? Beer mats, and think things that you can do and make. You are so talented, my girl. Yeah, I want to tell you, Lizzie, I'm not joking. When I finished that box, and when I was praying to the drying gods that it dried the way that it looked, because it looked so good. But I literally, I had paint everywhere. I had it in my hair. I had it all over. I didn't mind having it on my clothes, but I literally walked into the shower and just turned the shower on because I knew if I could get most of it out of the clothes I was wearing, it was probably a good idea. But I thought of you and thought, It's such a pity we don't live in the same town, Lizzie, because you and I would be up to all sorts of mischief with paint, I can tell. But you know what I love about doing that, Lizzie? It's so creative, and it's difficult to feel miserable when you're doing it, because it's good. You had your hair cut and colored for Christmas. Yeah, I was thinking maybe I should cut a few inches off my hair this Christmas. But anyway, my choices are, shall I cut my hair or, do a bit more Christmas shopping? I don't have the luxury of both, so I will enjoy one. Yeah. So, and, I did buy myself, Clarence for Christmas, so I really have to be careful about where I put the money. Yeah, a paint fight at sells. Yeah, I can actually see Lizzie and I, literally, with a canvas up on a wall and the two of us throwing paint at it. I can see us doing that, with a very large bottle of wine, Liz. Yes, and you know something, Lizzie, and I agree, Nana. I will do the shopping before I have the haircut. I'll just continue to cut my own hair. I've always wanted to do it, Lizzie. Yeah, and Nana too. Actually, Nana though, but you're a serious artist, you know. But if I've seen Nana the plastic bag thing, right? Me, it would be I can't even be bothered to wear a plastic bag. I just want to huck the paint and see what happens. Ah. Well, Lizzie, be grateful. I went for blood tests and ended up nearly on the floor twice. I had 2 bouts of vertigo. I've never had that before. What causes that? Lack of oxygen to the brain? I'm going, I don't know what just happened to me. Quite honestly, I thought I was no longer for this world at one point. The whole room started to spin, and I went, "Ooh, that's not funny." And I ended up with so many bruises on my hands when they were trying to take blood. It was dehydration did it. Okay. So what I've got to do is to learn to fast but drink slowly. No, I didn't stand up. It happened to me actually when I went to lie down. Oh, it can happen from shock? That's what it felt like. It felt like I'd gone into shock of some sort. That's interesting you should say that, Lizzie. Yeah, it felt like it was a stress thing. But it struck me as strange because I'm not really that stressed about having my blood taken. And when it happened the first time, I was pretty surprised. When it happened the second time, I was a bit frightened. It actually happened before they started taking the blood, so I did it to myself. But the second time they were taking the blood, yeah. It was strange because I also had to go to the washroom, and give them a sample, and they were really insistent that I made sure I was safe to go in there on my own, sort of thing. Because I think they were scared I was going to pass out in the washroom, but I managed just beautifully. Google says I may be pregnant. Yeah, that would be exciting. That would be actually, I mean, no disrespect, and I'm not being blasphemous, I hope, but it would be the Immaculate Conception if I'm pregnant. I would be the second. Um, it's called vasovagal shock. Really? Vasovagal shock. Never heard of that. Hang on, I'm gonna have to write that down because I got to look into that. Even before they've hit the vein. I've never heard of that. Huh. Thank you. You see, what I love about doing the broadcast is I always learn something. So, right. So, Nyasha, what I hear you doing to yourself is beating up on yourself a lot. Do you realize that you do that? Do you realize that you judge yourself very harshly and that all the time you are looking at the negative, not the positive? And so we're all here to help you, but you understand this is something you've spent 33 years perfecting. That, I would do it, but it's because of this, that, and the other. And we've all been there. Believe you me, we have all been there. Um, and the interesting thing is when you learn to reprogram yourself is really what it is. Yeah, the funny thing was, Lizzie, it happened to me when I went to lie down. It wasn't that I was getting up. I went to lie down and it hit me. Which, I must have been at some, you know, I think I was dehydrated to a large extent. That makes a lot of sense to me. Yes, we're all victims of life, and I think that is the thing that Nyasha, that as long as you understand Nyasha, you are no different from people in this room, right? All the people in this room have their own problem, if I can put it that way, but they don't see them as problems. They see them as their realities. And so they don't concentrate on them. You probably, if you didn't know that Erin could only move part of one hand, you probably wouldn't know that, right? Or that Jody overcame cancer, but then got lymphedema instead, that totally has had, eh, swollen up so she can't do the things she used to be able to do. So you look at it and you go, um, everybody here has something going on. Okay, Erin. So when I get my blood taken, and first make sure you drink at least the water. Yeah. But the funny thing is, I sleep all night and then I get up, and I actually, I actually did drink what I thought was a couple of bottles of water, but I think I needed to have had at least 4 bottles of water rather than 2. So that is something that, I'm learning now at my great age that, when I fast, I need more. But that's a learning thing, right? And I didn't realize that being dehydrated could cause that problem. All right, what's Erin up to here? How many excuses did I make to not straighten? Getting my chair again, but look at me now. Yeah, you know something, Erin, you continue to amaze me. Yeah. Right. So listen to this, Nyasha. Forgive me, but I've been told that for so long. I think it's stuck in my head and I can't get out of it. Yes, you can get out of it. We're going to help you. But now I need to remove it. I'm going to learn how. Okay. So here is the thing. We're going to help you, all right? Just by, literally every week that you start giving us the excuses, we're just going to call you on it because hi, Kerry, because we care enough. All right. And as long as you want us to continue to care, we will do that. I didn't know that, Jody, that ab- abnormal bleeding is a sign of that. I didn't know that. That's another thing I've learned. Well, Nyasha, we're not going to treat you like a child, if that's what you would like. We'd like to treat you like an adult. All right? Because when you get treated like an adult, you will start behaving like one as well. But I can tell you one thing, Nyasha, that a friend of mine once said to me. And she said, something, Sal, I liked it before I learned this stuff. And I said, why? And she said, because I could get away with so much more, because I could use all the excuses. And so you're not going to love us sometimes. You're going to be quite upset. But understand that everything is a choice, Nyasha. You know what I mean? Everything is a choice. If you want to carry on with the excuses, that's your choice. And we all totally understand it, because I can tell you, I came up with more excuses you can think of as to why I continue to smoke. So I totally get it. I'd been using those excuses for 50 years, and I totally understand it. Yep. But I could still quite happily go and have a cigarette every day, but I choose not to. Jody, I cannot imagine what that must be like to have had uncontrollable bleeding like that. I didn't know that was a sign of uterine cancer, but that's a very interesting thing. But the catch-22 for you was you overcame the cancer and then got lymphedema instead. That must have been quite I want to say frustrating, but I know frustrating would be too mild a word. I need to ask a question, if I may. I know that you are a firm believer. So were you angry at God for that, or did you just see it as it is what it is? Kerry, we've been talking on the Christmas countdown. If you haven't got your overseas cards in the mail yet, you're running a bit behind, just so that you know that. If you've got any cards going to Canada, this would be the week to send them. That's on the countdown. And then we've also been talking a little bit about what people are struggling with. Yeah, you see, Nyasha, I want you to see the people in this room. Each one of them has got their struggle, right? And each one of them has all the excuses in the world. Right, the lymphedema, Jody is saying, came from the radiation they told me that she must have. Right, I was never angry at God. I was thankful for the technology to save my life. 2 surgeries and radiation, yes. And I needed to ask that question because, I would imagine at some point you must have rolled your eyes and gone, "You mean I beat cancer and I end up with lymphedema instead?" But it certainly, I'm sure, was better than the alternative. Now, the interesting thing is that Jody, now, Nyasha, this is an interesting point on Jody's story. Jody had found that she was sleeping in a recliner rather than her bed, because she didn't feel that she could sleep in her bed anymore, and then suddenly made a decision that she was going to go and sleep like a human and go back to bed. And she's been sleeping so much better. And it's really strange. So sometimes just making yourself do the right things also helps. Yeah. And Liz is saying, Jody, that gives me some hope for all my medical fears. You've gone through so much. Yeah, you're right, Lizzie. She's a very brave lady. I literally in the next couple of weeks are going to go through this bank of blood tests I've just done and a CAT scan. And you know what they're looking for. And it's like, it just is what it is, right? Or isn't. It does help to have some good support. Absolutely. The other thing is, it helps to be out of Disneyland, all right, and in reality, to stay out of the emotion. That's the thing that I found is, you know, just don't worry about anything until you got a reason to worry is my number one thing. Because we can scare ourselves stupid by what it could be. You've had your ultrasounds. Okay, Lizzie. Yeah, I've got a CAT scan coming up myself. Yeah. The way it was quite funny because I was actually told, did I want to have the CAT scan? And it was interesting, and I said, why wouldn't I? And the specialist said some people don't want to know. Yeah, and I said, I'm not that person. Right? Because to me, if I've got bad things going on, I would like to know about it, I guess. The other thing is, I also would like to know that at this stage of my life that I don't have anything wrong, right? That's why I'd like to have the CAT scan. And so, I look at it and I say to you that as I sit here at this time of the year, I think you're all a gift. You're a gift to me and you're a gift to the channel, but you're also a gift to one another. Yeah, Erin, and that's why I wanted to talk about that, about being angry, because I think it is okay to be angry. But that's why I wanted to know who do you get angry at? Do you get angry at God? Do you get angry at the because anger is an emotion that we need to feel every now and then. Yeah. Hi there, Kimmy. Good to see you. Kimmy. Oh, that's interesting. Beth gets angry at herself. What did I do wrong to deserve this? All right. Yeah, Beth, you're probably not alone. Beth, can you talk to Kimmy about how to have bread if you can't eat wheat? Kimmy, I really want you to try and get to talk to Beth a bit more, even if you do it offline, because Beth has some really good ways of eating better. You've been really sick. I'm sorry to hear that, Kimmy. Is that with your asthma? No, Kim isn't in the fitness group. No. Yes, Kim, and I think that's quite normal. All right, that for when you're going, what did I do to deserve this? Well, what the answer is probably nothing. It just is what it is, right? And that's part of why I like to talk about these things Liz, I can assure you that at some level, I am pretty sure that I'm as scared as you are. But my reality is that until I know I've got something to be scared of, why would I be scared? Right? That would be just a waste of energy. And I don't have that much energy. I can't afford to waste it. All right. Are these asthma attacks again, Kimmy, just so I understand? Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah. I don't know if you know, Kimmy, but I used to struggle a great deal bronchial wise, and also, funny enough, had inhalers and things, and occasionally I still have to have them. If I get bronchitis, I still have to have a steroid to help me. So I really I really um, have full sympathy for you. It's horrible. It's horrible when you can't breathe. It's scary, isn't it? Yeah, Lizzie. You know something? Worrying, if you can just understand that reality, worrying about it is not going to make it. All it's going to do is make you more sick. And then I would also say to yes, you've changed your thinking to this can fix me. Yes, and make you better. It's better than not knowing. Exactly. And that's how I feel as well. These blood tests, I don't know what the blood tests are going to say, but I'll deal with that when I hear it. So I thought we'd finish with a couple of fun quotes about Christmas, if any of you would like that. Now, I just want to give you a heads up at the beginning. That this is in no way meant to be blasphemous in any way. Yeah, Aaron, right? I've been angry at myself as well. Not to, I, I didn't do anything to cause this. It's just genetics. Exactly. I like this one. It said, the principal advantage of the non-parental lifestyle is that on Christmas Eve, you do not get struck down dumb by the three most terrifying words that the government allows to be printed on any product. Some assembly required. Or how about nothing is as mean as giving a little child something useful for Christmas? I always have that problem with the girls because Benji and Judy always say make if you're going to give them a present, make it educational, and every now and then I'm going, I really don't want to give them something educational, so I get away with it every now and then. How about adults can take a simple holiday for children and screw it up? What began as a presentation of simple gifts to delight and surprise a child around Christmas tree has culminated in a woman unwrapping 6 shrimp forks from her dog who drew her name. Or how about, I love Christmas. I receive a lot of wonderful presents. I can't wait to exchange. Yeah. Or this one I thought was really beautiful. I don't know if any of you relate to this one. Never worry about the size of your Christmas tree. In the eyes of children, they are all 30 feet tall. Well, Kimmy, I hope that you're not sick for December, and I hope that I'm not sick for December, as I was last year. But even though I was sick last year, I still did Team No Sleep. I just stayed at home to do it, where there was less stress. How about for Christmas this year, try giving less. Start with less attitude. There's more than enough of it in the world as it is, and people will usually just give it back anyway. Shirley Temple said, she said, I stopped believing in Santa Claus when I was 6. Mother took me to see him at the department store, and he asked if I could have my autograph. You don't think about poor Shirley Temple, right? You can imagine that as a 6-year-old, you're already so famous that people want your autograph. Yeah, December is a very heartwarming time, I must admit. One of the things that we have been so sad about is that that last hour is the most special to. I've always said to people, you cannot imagine the feeling in that room. Because being in that room is a very special feeling. I just do want to say that. I am very blessed that I am part of the team, because when you're actually in that room and you have worked yourself stupid for 24 hours, the feeling that, okay, fine, it's the last hour of 24 is amazing. And I cry for nearly all of the last hour, regardless of whether we hit the target or not. Because it's about, isn't it wonderful that we did this? Isn't it wonderful that 8 years ago we tried it and we raised $4,000, and since then we have raised millions. And so I look at it and go, it is a huge gift, and we are so blessed that so many people around the world share that gift with us and help us do what we do. And so to me, I am forever grateful that I am, well enough to go this year. I'm trying to imagine what I'm going to do sitting on a hard stool for 24 hours, because I'm not sure my back's going to be able to take it. Yes, I think there are an awful lot of people that would love to be at December. And that's why we did try and open it up a bit. But I think that somewhere or another we've got to come up with a way that people can feel that in a different way. I'm not quite sure what that is yet, because obviously we can't have everybody there. I can assure you that it takes so many people to do the job now. When I say so many people, when we first started, it was Benji, Judy, a laptop. I was on blog TV going backwards and forwards through the rooms. Yeah, Nyasha says, yes, I can feel it too. I'm a very sensitive person. When I see Benji and Judy crying, I cry too. Well, I assure you that those of us who support it, I would like to say most of us are crying in that last hour. We give a great deal of energy, as you know, to that event. And Jody will tell you, I work all year on December. It's not just that 24 hours. I've been working I've been working on December all year. And so to me, it's like it's the big thing, if you like. But to me, December is something that happens all year. How can one support it from their home? Well, you can support it by advertising it to your friends. Let your friends know that what we do and why we do it. You can support it from your home by being there and watching it, by um, uh, you know, doing the challenges if you want to. Yeah, this is the whole thing. The whole just using the hashtag Dancember helps. So there are lots of ways in which people can help. Um, I know, for example, that I've got a team of people who help me every year just by being there to support me. I know Judy was quite surprised to hear that I actually have a team of people that I delegate things through when I'm doing Dancember. Yes, you actually don't send in the dance video. All you do is you put it up onto YouTube with hashtag Dancember on it. And if it's got the hashtag Dancember, then they will be able to pick it up. What is that, Nana? Hi, Boob. Good to see you. Yeah, you and Lucas dancing would be wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's we've had people dancing with their dog. We've had people, I'm certain all of you have seen Grampy do his dance that he does. Um, so it's all about. It doesn't really matter. All that we need the help with is let more and more people know that we are doing it and we're raising money for a good cause, which is Save the Children this year. And I got to speak with the Save the Children people in a conference call last week, and they are so excited to have us do this for them. They know what we've done for other people, and they're so excited that we're willing to help them. And the strange thing is that Save the Children Fund was the very first charity I ever worked with. So to me, it's like a big circle. They don't need to do a video and send it to Benji and Judy. What happens is you just do a video, put it up on YouTube, but you have the hashtag Dancember on it, and that means that we can find it to be able to use it if they need to. Please do not send it to Benji and Judy because they are about to leave. They're about to go away, so they're not going to have time to look at them. But what we have is we have other people, production people, checking those Dancember hashtags. Well, thank you, Nana. I appreciate that. As I said, it's a true blessing to be part of the team. And if you think that you guys cry from where you're watching it, you being in that room makes it really interesting. You can use any music. The only thing is keep it under 10 seconds. Make your dance less than 10 seconds, because that's all we're going to be able to show. Because if you're using anything that's copyrighted, you're allowed to have 10 seconds, but that's it. So whatever you're using, they're going to cut it down to 10 seconds. So think about that. Yeah. And 10 seconds is actually not a long time, but probably longer than you think. You know something? I'm amazed how well that we have done. Yes. But Nana, I'd like to say the reason that we've done as well as we have is because we have a team of people that really believe in it. And, you don't do this alone, right? As Benji and Judy will tell you at the end of every single Dancember. All right. This is a team of people who put this together. Mia and Kira will definitely be dancing this year. Yeah, they're big enough now. They understand. And, they love to dance, so I am sure. And I'm pretty sure that Juliana will be at a different level because, she's sort of 6 going on 16 now. You know what I mean? So her dancing will be very different again. Yeah, I think the whole thing is not about how well everybody dances, but remember why we dance. We danced just to raise the money and to be happy that we've raised the money. It's not about how well anybody dances. That is not what this is about. This is about, hi. If you take us to the next level, we will dance again, right? And, please remember that those children cannot be up 24/7. It always frustrates me how many people say to me, where are the children? And I'm going, they're asleep. Well, can't you wake them up so I can see them? Well, unfortunately, no, they need to sleep. And it's just like, really? Wake up the children because I want to see them. Well, yeah, I got people all around the world that want to see them. Yes, Nana. If you remember the first year that we started it, which was the year before last, we had, I think, 700 people on the street team. And this year we have over 7,000. So, and I'm responsible for the street team. So, I get to be pretty busy all year round because those people are all asking questions and they all help us. And if you're not part of the street team, I really would recommend that you do that. And if you want to know how to do that, just go to Facebook and put in Dancember in Facebook and just ask to become part of the group and I will okay you. That's how we find out and people join. And the idea is that the street team people are the people that help us spread the word. They're the ones that really work hard at it as opposed to just think about it. And so what will happen is we will keep giving the street team people little challenges, right? It's too hard to stay up all night. I know because I only get 3 to 4 hours of sleep every night. Well, I want to assure you that I totally understand that. But I definitely make it my mission every December to actually survive the 24 hours. I know it's mind over matter. I know that the difficult time, funny enough, and that's why I'm always so grateful that Jody doesn't necessarily sleep well at night. Because the most difficult time is that 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock. That is, I want to tell you, that is very difficult. Even 2 to 6 sometimes. Once it gets to 6, you sort of get on a roll. But luckily, in past years, Jody's normally been there to keep me awake, or at least one of the friends from DearMamaSal has been there to keep me awake, and I'm very, very grateful. Because I can assure you, and we don't dance as much because it takes longer for the for the donations to come in. And so, to me, it's just like, okay, just understand. It's going to be a difficult one, but we'll do it. You know me, I'll be there. All right, everybody. So I'm going to get out of here. Thank you. And so just a reminder, this week's for the countdown, if you haven't already got the international cards out of your house, get them out this week for sure. Otherwise, they're never going to get there. And if you can, if you're in the US, get your Canadian cards out. And if you're in Canada, get your US cards out this week if you possibly can. And that way you've got a pretty good chance of them getting there. And then the following week, I guess it's the local ones if you can get to those. All right, everybody. So best of luck with your Christmases I will try and find the rest of my decorations, but I thought I just had to show you that at least half dressed, it's not looking too bad, and it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Didn't they do the shirts? Yes, we do shirts every year. There will be shirts this year as well. We're just doing it a different way, Niasha. Um, but they will be announcing that. I don't know when because, they do it on their timetable, not mine. Yes, enjoy the rest of your. Well, Cindy, we're trying to, you're in Hong Kong, Cindy. So this is the thing. I would imagine for you it would be get your international cards out this week. If you've got local cards to China, I would imagine probably this would be the next coming week would be the week to get them out, or to Macau or somewhere like that, right, where it's still fairly close. But the long distance ones, the ones down to Australia and South Africa and stuff like that, make sure you get them out in a hurry, because otherwise they're not going to get there. All right, everybody. And by the way, I sent small packages out, and I found that really quite rewarding. I just threw a little something in with all of it, paid a little bit extra on the postage, but it was worth it to me. I felt that I had done something. I will see some of you on Sunday and look forward to it. We will be doing our usual Soul Sunday on Sunday. I hope that you all feel the Christmas spirit a little bit better. And remember, it is the season to be jolly, and the way that we get to enjoy it is to be prepared. And that is what our goal is this year, to be a little bit better prepared than we have been recently. And if we keep being prepared, we won't have that last minute rush, or it won't be as bad as it normally is. So have fun, everybody. We'll see you on Sunday. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting one another. And remember, be as cheerful as you can be. Wake up each morning and be grateful that you woke up, because there are an awful lot of people who won't see Christmas this year. So be grateful for small mercies. This is DearMamaSal saying, look after one another, but please, 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 as usual, make sure to look after yourself. This is DearMamaSal saying big hugs, and bye-bye for now.